I don't feel alone. We just settled in and it already feels like home.
You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is gig.
Check 1 2, check 1 2.
Checkity check.
Do I have you? 2? Yeah.
2 1 2 1.
Yep. I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready to roll?
You're good?
Yep.
Okay. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Feels Like Home podcast. We'll get to this week's guests, Kassadee McFadden from The Page, here in just a second. Marty, we had fun on Saturday, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
I had more fun than you did because I actually got to go to the.
Yeah, you got to go. I was parking cars, but that's okay. I felt like my job was important to make sure that people got on the shuttle.
But yeah, we were out at Hopewell Mound Group for the World Heritage commemoration ceremony. I got to hear, honest to goodness, top 3 moments of my life for hearing someone speak. Chief Glenna Wallace, just an inspirational woman, an inspirational figure in Native American current landscape, right. But probably much deeper than that for them. But just such a great keynote address, and then of course being just part of the atmosphere out there, which was really cool. So
yeah, it's an exciting time for our community. I think there's still people who don't understand what it really means.
Yep.
But they'll discover that over the next few months and even years. But yeah, Glenna Wallace, I had dinner with her when she was in town about a year ago, and we sat at the table across from each other, and I just had an amazing conversation with her. She's just an amazing woman. And
so willing to guide us through the process, just, like whether it's individually or as a group, guide us through the process of what it means for their culture, for this to happen, and what it means for her people to be recognized in this way. She talked a lot about how a lot of times she was referred to as savages when she was younger, and now she hears people talk about referring to the people that constructed these mounds and did these things being referred to as geniuses, and what a great transformation that is for her soul. Right. And man, just a really awesome thing to be a part of. If you have the opportunity, it was streamed live, and I think it's still archived on Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks Facebook page.
It is, yes.
You should go out and take a look. You could watch the whole thing, but definitely watch Chief Wallace's speech because it was tremendous. So
yeah, I think just to help people understand who she is the chief of the Shawnee Nation that's represented in Oklahoma.
Yep.
And so she lives in Oklahoma, but comes back here frequently because of just the history here.
Well, and a really cool part of my part of this thing on Saturday was the fact that I went over on the bus. There were probably 12 people outside of the bus driver on this bus, myself and the guide from the Friends of Hopewell. And then the other folks were either from Oklahoma or from Indiana. So it was really cool to see what I know is going to happen here, which is a lot of visitors from other places.
That's right.
And so it was just a really cool set of moments. It just even more crystallized in my mind what's happening out at Hopewell Mound Group. So, and across Ross County, really. So. Yeah. One of our other favorite places too is downtown Chillicothe.
That's right.
And so tonight we have on Kassadee McFadden, who is the creative director of The Page, and she's going to talk a little bit about what The Page is and how it came to be. She's a bright, engaging young lady that I think has really just found a niche with The Page, and just a person that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. And hopefully you'll learn a little bit more about her and The Page as we talk with Kassadee McFadden. Well, we are excited today to have Kassadee McFadden. So let's just go full disclosure to start. Kassadee lives in the apartment above the chamber. I feel like we've now run the full gamut on people that live or work inside the chamber. Tiffany and Kassadee, Terry was on.
Terry was on. Yeah, that's right.
And
is it a requirement to live there to be on the podcast?
It's not. I mean,
It helps.
It does help.
I mean, you either have to live there, or you have to have played Zane Trace soccer apparently to be on this.
Yeah, we've had an unreasonable amount of people that I coached soccer at Zane Trace.
On the last episode.
I mean, we're up to like 8 or 9 people that have all played soccer when I coached.
We could almost field a full
kind
team
of by accident.
right now.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
we're starting an alumni game.
But I digress. We're here talking to Kassadee McFadden tonight. She is the creative genius, is what I'm going to call her. She would probably be called.
I like that
she would
title.
call herself creative director of the page, and it's located inside Paper City Coffee. But why don't you tell us a little bit more about what the page is about?
I would love to. The page is, I boil it down to a cocktail bar. That's the thing that's most important to me. And we are located inside Paper City Coffee. We are open on the weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We open at 5:00. And we love to serve a good cocktail. We do a selection of signature handcrafted drinks. We do a good selection of beer. And we're just kind of finding our way through this little nightlife industry in Chillicothe. And we're having a lot of fun bringing in musicians and such. It's been a good time.
So, and I want to get to your background a little bit and how this whole thing came about, but what do you think sets the page apart right now from other places? And I don't mean that in a negative way. Like my feeling is that it's a chill environment, which I think is super important to have a place in your community where there's not loud live music going or something else, right?
Yes.
TVs on every wall.
For sure. Yeah. That was kind of the benefit that I found in opening the page at Paper City Coffee, which is such a large space. There is room for so many people to come in and sit, but there's also room for, like, if we have musicians, say, in the gathering room, we can have people sitting on the other side of the building who are not necessarily deafened by music. They can sit over here and have a conversation with each other, no matter what is really going on elsewhere. But it also it's pretty calm and it's comfortable. You're not going to go in. I mean, odds are you're not going to go in and not be able to find a place to sit, which is nice. I know I hate going into a busy bar and there's people everywhere and there's nowhere to sit, but there's also like nowhere to stand.
Right.
Like everywhere you stand, you're in someone's way.
Yeah.
That's not my favorite. That's fine every now and then.
Yeah.
But I think it's nice that we provide that kind of environment for people who kind of just want to go somewhere and just be chill.
Yeah. And the aesthetic inside the place obviously doesn't change because you couldn't pull that off every day that you do it. But it almost lends itself very well to that kind of atmosphere and that kind of cocktail experience inside as well.
I would say that, yeah. I can't take credit for that. That is mostly Meg, my boss, the owner of Paper City Coffee. She has a very good eye for that kind of thing, and that's been cultivated over many years.
Mm-hmm.
We did, however, so when we knew that we were going to be opening the page, we were waiting for our liquor license to come in at the beginning of the year, and we historically always close for the first week of the year. And that's the time that we do renovations, fix things up, clean things up, whatever it is. And we consciously made some design choices that lended themselves to the bar atmosphere. So that was like new furniture, and we painted a nice new mural, and we rebranded, and I think it all kind of made it feel a little bit more cohesive.
Yeah. And at one point at the beginning, when the page opened, there was really 3 businesses in one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Lady Basil was in there.
Right. Yeah. It gets a little bit confusing. And I think people are still quite confused about what the page is.
Sure.
And where it is and what we do. And I am just doing my darndest to combat that. But it's just going to take some time.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lady Basil is gone now. Unfortunately, it's just the two of us. But it's fun. It's fun having so many women, pursuing their passions under one roof.
And the page opened when?
The page opened at the end of March this year.
So really you're just coming up on like 7 months, really.
We are in our infancy.
Yeah.
We're approaching our first holiday season, which I'm pretty nervous about, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm not very good at event planning and, those kinds of things. I'm good at a lot of things. That's not one thing that I'm very great at. So I'm employing some help for the Halloween and for the Thanksgiving and the Christmas. But it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the key really though, is areas that you're not strong, find people that are strong and can help carry you.
Yes.
That's right.
I mean, in that sense, then you can focus on what I think is one of your strong suits, which is number one, creating that cocktail menu, and then also customer service, which I think, you have at the most probably 2, 3, maybe on some nights bartenders there, or just 2?
At this point, it's just myself and one bartender. We're only open 3 nights a week, so we don't need a ton of us. It would almost be unfair to employ a third bartender.
Sure.
I think there's just not enough hours to go around. Maybe during the holiday season, we'll need to, have some people that we can call in case of emergency. But for right now, it's just the two of us. Often we will work like on nights that there's nothing going on, no music or anything. We'll just work by ourselves. And then the two of us will work on the busier nights.
Yeah. So how does it become a daytime coffee bar to a nighttime cocktail bar? How does that evolve? And, the thing that I'll say about Megan, I think one of the things that I really appreciate her is, number one, she is always open to new ideas and always open to feedback from people that will help strengthen the business. Right. And so tell me a little bit about how that whole process went. Tell us. Sorry, I said me like Marty's not in the room.
It's okay.
Oh, you're here.
I understand my job. I have one job. I try to do it well.
So I have background as a bartender. I started bartending the day that I turned 21 at Roosters. It was my first service job, and every job I've had since then, essentially, I have found my way behind the bar. So it's something that I'm passionate about. I will occasionally get burnt out, and I'll be like, I need to do something different. I need a job where I don't have to talk to people. And then I go do that job for a few weeks, and I'm like, I'm sick of this. I want to go back. So I got this job at Paper City as a barista. Actually, Meg hired me without a job to give me, technically. I went in for my first day to wash dishes, and I ended up being a barista. I mean, they ended up needing my help. So it worked out really well. But I'm pretty sure the conversation that Meg and I had when she hired me, we talked about opening a bar. And it was just like a silly idea. It was like, what if we just opened a bar, Paper City Coffee?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be crazy? And then we had a friend of ours. His name was Ryan, and he was a chef who lived upstairs. He lived in the apartment above Paper City Coffee. And he had approached us asking if we would be interested in doing a supper club type of thing. And we were interested. We have a good space for it. We have the kitchen. We have everything. So we were like, yeah, we'll play ball. Let's do it. And we would love to have alcohol at this if this is something that we decide we want to continue.
Now we just got to figure out how to do it.
Exactly. How do we get the alcohol? That's the riddle.
Yeah.
And anybody who has tried to acquire a liquor license in Chillicothe or maybe in the state of Ohio or maybe period, I don't know. That it's not very easy.
Right.
There's a quota. They are all taken or they're very expensive. They're just hard to get. So we told Ryan that. We were like, listen, we would love to do that. We just don't know how. there's no clear path here. So he did some research for us, and he found our liquor license for us. It's technically a liquor license that is granted within a revitalization district,
Right.
which is what we are in. And we are a business that sells over 50% of food. So we qualified for that license, luckily. And it seemed too good to be true. It seemed too easy. It was too easy. Like, there's no way that we can just apply for it and just get it like that. But that's what happened. It took maybe 3 or 4 months, but there it was.
Yeah.
So we did our chef's table, is what we called it, our supper club event, and we had our first one on a Saturday, and we received our license that Monday, and I was able to somewhat serve alcohol to the best of my ability, and it all happened from there. The page opened later that month. It really filled a hole that I had, a passion that I have that I was not really able to use in that kind of setting. And I think that we're really able now to like squeeze all of the juice out of the brand that is Paper City Coffee and the space and whatnot. So yeah, that's about it.
So, very integral to that story, I think, though, is what you just said, basically about like there was an entrepreneurial side of you that really you weren't capitalizing on because you were always working for somebody else,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
So have you identified that? Did you identify that? I know you're a local product. You went to Unioto.
Right.
Again, truth be told, when Cass was a young girl, I lived at the lakes. Her mom and she lived at the lakes, and my kids would go to the pool and they would be there. So like, I remember meeting Cass at a young age and then seeing her at Roosters. And then now to see this is just pretty amazing. So I'll come back to the question, which is, did you feel like there's always been this entrepreneurial side of you that you were like, I don't know how to do this. But I know I want to.
You know, I think that has kind of just revealed itself within the last year. I honestly think that getting into all this stuff with the page has brought that part of me up to the surface, and I think it was always there. But you know, I did the whole like, I need to go to school and I need to get a degree and I need to get a real job and get health insurance. Who needs that? So I kind of just had this idea in my head that like, I don't want to be a career bartender.
Right.
And like I said, I kind of moved away from it a few times, and each time I did, I missed it and I wanted to go back. And probably when I was working at Paper City Coffee as just a barista was the longest stretch I ever went not bartending. And once we started getting into the planning and all of that, I started to realize like, I really love this.
Yeah.
Like this is something that makes me so happy. And I love serving people. I love being creative. I love making things. I love, you know, every little bit of it, just the whole thing. And it's really shown me that maybe I could have a career in something like this. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, bartender. It could be entrepreneur. It could be bar owner. It could be, you know, anything. I could work at a distillery. It's just opened up a new, line of thinking, I think.
Yeah. You say that your time as a barista, was the longest you had been, not been a bartender, but those jobs are so similar. That
is so true.
It's just a different product, right? But you still had to be creative and create drinks as a barista. So I think there's so much crossover between those two that, and I could see where your time as a bartender gave you the skills to be a really good barista.
for sure.
So my question to you though is the page, where does that name come from? What's the backstory there? I'm just curious to know.
So
if there is a story, I guess.
There is a story.
Right.
We really, really struggled to name the page. It felt like an impossible task because it had to be something that made sense with Paper City Coffee. But it also needed to be like snappy and easy to remember and appropriate, I guess. So we went through a lot of different choices. At some point we were thinking like the Drinkery or I don't know. They were all bad.
Yeah.
They sucked. We were coming up with like, at the very end, I said, all right, you, and you, I need you all to give me 30 bar names by the end of the week. And we're going to choose one out of these, however many we come up with. But where the page came from was essentially it's named after the Page of Cups, which is, it's a tarot card. It symbolizes things like new opportunity and creativity and partnership, all of the things that we were like, that makes sense for us. We stand for that. And I really wanted to call it the Page of Cups, the whole thing. But Meg said, maybe we just shorten it, just make it a little snappier. And the page also makes sense because, one could say that it's referring to a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
And we are Paper City Coffee. So, that's where that comes from. And then we do have on our first signature drink menu, which we are currently still running until next week, we have a drink called the Page of Cups, which was my way of sticking that right back in there. Yeah.
Well, it's also like turning a page for Paper
Absolutely.
City Coffee, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I figured that might be the direction you go with the story, but it all fits.
It does.
It makes sense.
Well, and that's what I think is cool about it too, is that anybody can really put their own meaning to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool that you're bringing in music. Anybody that's listening to this podcast will tell you I'm a huge fan of live music. I'm a huge fan of local live music. And, there are some folks that can play one place but not play others. And so having, as I mentioned before, that chill acoustic environment that you can provide, but you've had full bands in there
we
too.
have. Yeah,
and,
for sure.
I think the greatness of what you're doing is that you've had the variety that can pull a lot of different people in.
For sure. Yeah. And that's something that I've actually really been looking for because we're so new. We don't know what our crowd is.
Yeah.
We don't know. We would kind of be cutting off our nose if we just chose one crowd,
Right.
if we just chose one genre of music and we were like, we're only going to do this, that would just be dumb.
Yeah.
Why don't we just expose our guests to a full breadth of entertainment? Let's just try everything and see what sticks.
Right.
And we've had some really, really great shows come in. We had Garage Fire, which is my friend is in that band. I actually went to high school with several of them. And they are a loud band.
Yeah.
But they did a really, really cool unplugged set for us, and it was so much fun. It was like the best I've ever heard them. And we had a jazz band recently. We're just hitting every single stone, and it's so fun. And we're bringing in new people every time, which I love.
Yeah. Which also brings me to the creativity of the drink menu, because one of the things that I really appreciate is that there's now a couple of different places that you can get some creative cocktail making going.
Yeah.
Nothing against shot and a beer, nothing against regular cocktails, but it is impressive to go to a place and see some of the flavors that you've chosen and the way you've chosen them. So talk a little bit about how'd that inspiration come about?
Well, that's a great question.
It was just all up here, right?
Yeah, I just snapped my fingers and it was there. So bartending in the past, I was making other people's drinks. The menu was made for me. It was either corporate or it was like, I'm here at this restaurant where a bartender past made this menu and I may or may not have the power to change it. If I do, I don't have I don't have it in me to change it at this point in time. So I might have thrown a few of my own little things in there, but they weren't very good. The most important thing that I learned from those early jobs was the service aspect of it. It wasn't until we opened the page that I started to really take the drink making seriously. And there's been a real revitalization of cocktails and craft cocktails. And obviously I'm young, I'm 26. That started before I could drink. But I think it finally started to ripple out to me, and I love to cook. That's something that I really love to do. And I love, flavor combinations and trying new techniques and things like that. And so I thought, I don't see cocktails like this in Chillicothe. Maybe you'll see them in Columbus, but you go to Columbus and you're reading the menu and 3 of the ingredients, you're like, what the hell are these? Sorry.
No, you're fine.
What is this? It sounds cool, but what are these things? So I was like, what if I just made something that was interesting and a little bit more complex than people are used to, and it might scare them, but it's going to taste damn good. And if you order it, you're going to love it, and you're going to be like, give me more of these things that taste really good. And I don't know what they are, but I want to learn.
Well, and that was kind of what the guys at Old Capitol had to do a little bit too, because people would come in and say, well, where's Bud Light on this menu?
Yes.
And I remember them saying to us that what we've had to say is, well, what kind of beer do you like? And we'll try this or try that. You probably had to do that a little bit too, right?
Yeah. So when this first menu that we have currently, my philosophy, because we hadn't yet opened when I planned this menu, my philosophy was people are going to come in and they're going to order the drink, even though they don't know what it is, and they're going to love it. And I don't know why I thought that was what was going to happen. But I've proven myself wrong with the experience that I've had over the last several months. And some people do. Some people are into trying something new. But for the most part, people aren't going to order something that they're afraid of. And I get it. I understand. So with this new menu that I've been working on for the last few weeks, coming out next week, I decided, I'm just going to have to put some things on the menu that are approachable.
Right.
They don't have crazy ingredients in them. They are
ones
just
that I can't pronounce.
Exactly. They're just easy and they taste good. And, maybe I will throw something a little bit weird in there. But it's only going to aid in the flavor profile of the drink. And I think my mission now at this point is kind of demystifying the craft cocktail experience that you might be having at the page and saying, I know this sounds scary, but if just watch me make it, let me explain it to you and you'll understand that it's really cool and it's delicious.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm headed.
It goes back to I'm late to the game, to the coffee game. I did not start drinking coffee until maybe 9 years ago. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but it's okay. But that original journey was, the conversation started with the barista when I ordered a hot cocoa and they were like, what? Are you serious?
Hot chocolate? They do that.
Yes.
You want hot chocolate? Oh, okay. I'll make you a hot chocolate. And I'm like, well, I don't like coffee. And they were like, it's because you've never had good coffee.
Right.
And so then it started this conversation. And so the conversation every time I came in was something different. Like, hey, I remember you. And how did you like the coffee the last time? Well, you know what? That was actually pretty good. He's like, okay, I've got something else for you to try. And so I think that's part of your job. And that's what makes it different. I can walk into any place in town and get a Bud Light.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And not have a conversation about it. It's just
Except for Old Capital Brewing.
Yeah,
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
But see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what makes them different.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes you different.
Yeah.
Is you understand that there's you get to have a conversation with your customer,
Yes.
and that's a game changer for everything.
Yes.
And so you can talk about you are experimenting with the cocktails and help them through their path of discovering new flavors and new ideas and being open to it. So they don't have to be scared because you get to talk them through that. And I think that's the beauty that you have of being a bartender that takes their job seriously. Because there's lots of bartenders that don't.
For sure.
They just serve you the drink and it's all about pushing the alcohol. You take great care in what you're creating and you want them to have a great experience with it. And that's a difference maker.
Yeah, I think, like I mentioned my philosophy when we first opened, and maybe I misspoke. That wasn't necessarily my philosophy. I think that was just the approach that I took towards my philosophy, and that is something that still is standing now. Is that I want to introduce these cool things to people in this town, because that's not. I mean, it's not what people are used to. It's like this is a whole world of things. It's almost like there's a whole world of culinary.
The dogs have entered the chat.
Yes. Welcome.
They
Finn and
agree.
Daisy
That's right.
to
This
season
is what
5.
happens. Yeah. They've been pretty quiet this season. So
There's a whole world of culinary arts, for example, out there. Just like there is a whole world of spirits.
Yeah.
And there's this thing where people don't want to taste the alcohol in their drink. And they come to me and they say, make me something in which I cannot taste the alcohol. And I'm like, but that's the best part.
Yeah,
like you don't
that's
want
a
to
flavor
taste it.
too, right.
Yeah, exactly. That is lending itself to the flavor of what you're having.
Yeah.
So I want to bring that kind of philosophy to this town because I think that it could really help raise the taste level, raise the standards, and make things more interesting.
Well, I think we're trying desperately in the downtown space to create culture.
For sure.
Right. And so I think that lends itself to that is you're trying to create something that is expanding the culture of downtown Chillicothe and Chillicothe, Ross County. And those are all important things. It's just like art and everything else.
Well, and one of the things that I was going to tell you too is that I think the flavor profile was one thing. I thought the thing that most impressed me about what you were doing and what you are doing is the artistic appeal of what you're doing, from the glassware to the way that you've crafted the cocktails, the way that you put garnish or whatever into anything. It is all intentionally thought out, and you have an artistic background, right? So like,
I do.
So that probably all fed into that too. And that's part of your qualities coming out into the menu too, right?
Yeah. I would say the most important quality that I have, or the most important thing that I can provide, or that I have provided to the page, is just a painstaking, annoying, tremendous passion, like an intense passion for what I'm doing. And that is in everything that I do. And it's a blessing and a curse. It's something that I've had to learn to hold down a little bit, because I end up burning myself out very quickly because I just pour every single bit of myself into everything I do. And I believe that anything worth doing is worth doing well. And I say that to myself every single day. And I'm not proud of putting something out that is not completely well-rounded, because I know that I have the capacity and the ability to do that. And that's it. That's my standard, and I won't let that go.
Yeah. I mean, you're signing off on it, right? You're putting your signature on it.
I am.
So
right here
it's important that it represents you well.
Yeah.
Well, and you're there, every night that they're open, and they know that you're attached to it. Let's talk a little bit about, I don't know that you're going to give me any big scoops about this new drink menu, but I'm intrigued because I've seen you teasing it a little bit on the Facebook page. Tell us about your approach, maybe, if you're not willing to tell us the whole menu.
I'm so excited about it. I would love to talk about it. I won't let any too big details out, but I am super excited. So our first drink menu, it kind of lasted a little bit longer than I initially intended. Ideally, I would love to have a new cocktail menu every season, so for a year, and I think that's probably what we'll start rolling with from here forward. Which means that I'm able to kind of theme, per se, the menu around the season if I want to. And this being our first fall season, I decided that that's what I would like to do. So I like to cook. I'm a big food person. So I tend to take almost a culinary approach to drink making. So some of the drinks might be modeled after your favorite Thanksgiving food.
All right.
In the most tasteful way I could muster. But I also decided that this menu I wanted to have, rather than just kind of like splitting the difference between experimental and weird and approachable and easy, which is what we have right now, I decided, why don't we just do some of each? Like screw the middle stuff. Let's just do some on each end of the spectrum. So a few of the drinks might be a little scary, but for the people out there who are willing to try them, they're there for you and you're going to love it. But we're also doing a good selection of just easy to drink things. Any person can walk in, because I get that all the time. Like,
Sure.
Can you make me something sweet? Make me something fruity. And I just like never have an answer, because I want to give them one of my signature drinks, but right now we don't have anything like that.
Right.
So I decided, why don't I just make something? Let's give the people what they want.
That's right.
So we're going to have some of that. We're going to have, I can say that everything on this menu is made with love. It is way too detailed, and not in a way that makes it like muddy and gross, but in a way that like I'm running out of time in the week to get all this stuff done,
All
because
right.
that's just the way I am. I like to say that I make everything way more complicated than it needs to be. But it's in pursuit of a higher cause. So
Yeah. And you just recently did a collaboration with your former employer at Old Capitol Brewing. Talk a little bit about that.
yeah, so I did bartend at Old Capitol for a while, maybe like a year, and I loved it there. I love those guys. They're doing such a good job. It's a great place to be, great place to work. And I left. So when I first started working at Paper City, I was working 3 jobs. I worked at Paper City, and I worked at Old Capitol, and I worked at one other establishment in town. And it was not fun.
Not good for you either.
No, I mean, I've worked 2 jobs in the past, and that's doable, but 3 is just nuts. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. And it didn't last very long, but there came a point I met my husband. He wasn't my husband then. He kind of supported me as I quit 2 of my jobs, and I decided, like, this isn't working for me. I think I just want to do one thing, and I want to make it something that I'm really passionate about. And that ended up being Paper City, and freeing myself up in that way gave me the opportunity to do this. But anyway, Old Capitol. Ever since I left there, I didn't want to leave, but you know, it was for a good cause. Ever since I left, I've been saying like, guys, I want to brew a beer with you. Just you wait. We're gonna brew a beer. We're gonna brew it good. And we made it happen. I reached out to him a few months ago and was like, you guys ready to brew that beer with me now? And we went over, we made I don't think it's announced yet, but
Then don't announce it now.
Don't spoil it.
Let's keep our friends at Old Capel our friends.
We don't want to mess that.
we made a very, I haven't tried it yet. I can't say that it's delicious, but I'm sure that it is.
But it was like a month ago, right? Like, so it's still probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a month.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it's done. They just have to wait for, the right spot. It's a real Jenga, having so few taps and too much beer maybe. But it'll get on there, and I'm really excited to try it. I'm really just super excited to get to work with those guys again because they're great.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and we've said it here in this forum a couple different times, but we just love it when we see people working together. Mm-hmm. It just shows us the community that we've built in downtown Chillicothe, which to me is one of the reasons why we're going to continue to keep going and keep improving. So will you sell that at Page or just at Old Cap?
That's hard because, we don't have taps.
Yeah.
And, as much as I would love to have taps, it's a huge
That's
expense.
An investment.
Yeah.
People just think it looks like a tap, but it's like a whole
there's a whole
system.
Yeah. I mean, it's a,
and what do you do with that system when it's
cooler,
not being used?
Right. Yeah. You don't need to go into details. It's a lot of money to put that kind of thing in, but it's also like an ongoing expense. It's like you're buying gas, you're spending money to either like pay someone to come in to clean the lines, or like I'm cleaning the lines. You know, like that's just a big thing. So it will be cool, but it probably won't happen for us.
It's fine. They can have a beer down there and then come down for a cocktail or vice versa. I don't remember the rhyme. The rhyme is what? Liquor before beer in the clear, I think, right?
That's it.
That's what you go to the Page first and then you go down to Old Cap, right? And if you make a few stops in between, we don't mind that either, right?
There are plenty of places to stop in between.
So, obviously you've been able to take this creativity that you've had toward this thing. Is this something that you feel like this is something that you want to own your own place at some point in time? Or, are you not thinking that far? I wouldn't blame you if you weren't thinking that far. And today is today, right?
Yeah. I am terrible about thinking almost only about the future.
Right.
That's kind of my thing, is like, I'm thinking like I have this great idea and it's going to be so cool, but I don't think about, the amount of work that it will take to reach that goal. More specifically, the amount of time that it will take.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I sign myself up for things that are just not humanly possible.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've had to learn to limit. But, I am looking towards the future for the Page, and I am every day kind of finding ways to make it something that's plausible. And one day maybe I would love for the Page to have its own location, because the truth of the matter is we love being at Paper City, and it's fantastic. And I couldn't have done it if I hadn't had a home. But it's hard. We every day we bring the liquor out, and at the end of the night we put the liquor back, and it's just a million extra little steps that a normal bartender doesn't have to do.
Right.
Which is fine. We're doing the hard work right now. And that's the way that I'm looking at it, is we're putting in the work and we're putting in the time, so that one day in the future, things are easy and things are great. Things are great now.
Yeah.
I would love for the Page to have its own location.
Yeah.
I would love to own it. Maybe if Meg wants to sell it to me, I would love to own another bar. I would love to own 2 bars.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah. You just mentioned Meg, and I think one of the really cool things, and we touched on it a little bit earlier, but Paper City has become a place where it's like its own little women's business incubator. Mm-hmm. It's a fun thing to watch from the outside looking in. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about what it means to you to be a part of that atmosphere, because I think it's really important to you. I know it's important to her.
Yes.
So I'm just curious, like, you know, as you get into the middle of this thing and you start down the road, the nitty gritty of the thing sort of takes over at some point in time. But there was this beginning that was just so organic and cool that it has to be a really big thing to be a part of it, right?
It is fantastic. I have to say that the community that we at Paper City all experience every single day is the greatest community I've ever had the pleasure of being a part of. My life has changed in so many ways since I entered that place. So many unimaginable ways, and the page is really just one. And I really thank myself every single day for quitting my other 2 jobs and choosing to just be at Paper City. But I also, you know, owe a lot to Meg. She was my high school English teacher, my senior year of high school, and I was a terrible student. I had to do like the meeting with the truancy officer and all that stuff. I mean, like it was just terrible. I wasn't doing anything bad. I just wasn't going to school. But Meg was there for all of that. And despite that, she still gave me a chance. She gave me a job, and then she trusted me to do this big thing with the brand that she had built. So, you know, kudos to her for having the courage to lift women up, especially the women who are in her company, and she's really putting herself on the line for them. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for her.
Yeah, I knew it would be important for you to say that.
Yeah.
So tell everybody, how can people get more information about the page? Hit the hours again, because I think that's really important to make sure we get that out there a lot.
Yes, it is. So the page is on Facebook right now. That's the best way to learn more about us. We are Drink at the Page. That is our Facebook handle. If you search the page on Facebook, a lot of things pop up.
Not that though.
Yeah,
right? Not what you want them to.
I would have not named it that if I'd known beforehand how hard it would be to find. But we are open on Thursday, Friday, Saturday evening every single week. Thursday and Friday, 5 to 10, Saturday, 5 to 11. We, you know, are coming out with our new cocktail menu next week. That'll be next Thursday, the 26th. Very, very exciting. Thinking about doing some nice drink specials coming up. We have music every single week. You can see those events on Facebook.
Including our good friend Corey Breath. He's going to be there. Right. I think it's the 25th of November.
Yeah, he will be there Thanksgiving week.
He's our guy.
Yeah, we're excited.
We'll have to come out and see him, won't we, Marty?
Yes, we will. We'll be there.
But, well, Cass, seriously, part of the reason why I wanted to have you on is I just feel like what you've done there has been incredibly cool to watch.
Thank you.
And despite your choices for a husband, Tegan is one of my best friends. Just real quickly, but he would be upset if I didn't mention his name. He
asked me if we wanted him to come and be on the podcast with us.
I can't imagine.
And you lied and told him there was only 3 microphones.
That's right. Yes,
that's what I said.
Yeah. Said, okay.
But no, in all honesty, like it's such a jazz for me to watch young folks really live out some dreams and do some cool things. And I'm super proud of you and super impressed by you. I think the sky's the limit for you and for the page. And we wish you the best of luck as you roll out this new drink menu. I guess I'll have to come and try every one, so that way I'll just know. But
you got to know.
Not all in one night.
Yeah. Not all in one night.
I won't accept that.
Yeah. So thanks again for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is gig.